Hello and welcome. Tonight, the Rivers State House of Assembly says it has formally dispatched notice of impeachment proceedings to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. Former Presidents Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan tasked Nigerian leaders at all levels to cultivate the virtue of selfless service. The Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wiki, again reiterates his support for President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. And protests continue in Iran. Medics say hospitals are overwhelmed with injuries and not enough doctors to cope with the influx of patients. On sports news tonight, Super Eagles of Nigeria advanced to the semi-finals of the 2025 AFCON for a record 17th time after a comfortable win over Algeria in the quarterfinals in Morocco. We begin tonight with politics. Well, the Rivers State House of Assembly insists the impeachment process against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, is ongoing and has not been halted. In a statement issued recently, the House said the process, which commenced on January 8th, is being carried out in line with Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution. That according to the Assembly, notices of allegations of gross misconduct against have been formally served, and the House is awaiting the responses. The lawmakers dismissed claims circulating on social media that the impeachment process has been discontinued, describing them as false and misleading. And as political tensions resurface barely months after Rivers State's return to democratic governance, stakeholders and residents are now expressing mixed reactions over the latest developments. Our correspondent Deborah Febersima went around to seek their opinions and now reports.
Rivers State returned to democratic rule in September 2025 after 6 months of emergency rule under the supervision of a sole administrator, Ibokete Ibas, appointed by President Bola Tinubu. Governor Siminalayi Fubara resumed office following the lifting of the state of emergency, which was imposed as a result of prolonged political crisis in the state. Following his return, relative calm was restored, with both sides on the political divide publicly committing to peace and cooperation in the interests of the state. However, in recent weeks, subtle political tensions have resurfaced. During his Thanksgiving tours across several local government areas, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wiki, stated that certain political agreements reached with Governor Fubara must be honored as part of the process that led to the governor's reinstatement into office. The governor, on his part, has also made indirect public remarks suggesting slight divisions within the political space. The governor's recent political alignments with the All Progressives Congress further fueled speculations about his political future and second-term ambition. Fast forward to Thursday, when the Rivers State House of Assembly, which had been on recess, reconvened for an emergency sitting. During the sitting, lawmakers accused Governor Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odu, of several alleged infractions, including the non-presentation of the 2026 appropriation bill, alleged spending without legislative approval, and claims of financial neglect of the Rivers State House of Assembly as well as the judiciary. The impeachment move was presented by the leader of the House and seconded by the deputy leader, who also spoke against the deputy governor. Within the Port Harcourt and Obiakpor metropolis, stakeholders who spoke with Channels Television described the development as unhealthy for the state.
Well, every Rivers man will want peace, will want calm, will want progress. And Nigerians should give kudos to the governor of Rivers State that despite the crisis orchestrated by the FCT minister, she has been able to do a lot. So you can imagine what he would have achieved but for the crisis. And I tell you, I think this whole thing is targeted at his re-election.
I really do not want to see the state in a situation where we revert back to the March 18 scenario.
Reactions from stakeholders across other local government areas were mixed. While some supported the impeachment move, insisting that legislative oversight is a constitutional responsibility of the House of Assembly, others described the allegation as political and not reflective of governance realities.
At the local level, I am duty-bound to present appropriation bills for passage from the legislative arm. Meaning, if I fail to do so, I can be called to question. So, because I'm a product of law, I will not support the breach of our constitution.
Why is this happening? We have just come back from an emergency rule, and they know too well that during the emergency rule period, the sole administrator went to the National House of Assembly, and a budget was approved for him. We expect that sometime June, if another budget presentation has not been done, then one will say, okay, there's an infraction.
Weighing in on the matter, the president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Dr. Bani Sabare, urged youths across the state to remain calm and refrain from any action that could threaten peace.
Everything that is going on is worrisome to Nigerian youth in Rivers State, and we do not expect this to come at this critical time. 2026, we expect development, we expect advancement.
In a press release, the Rivers Elders and Leadership Forum condemned the impeachment notice, describing the move as politically motivated, warning that the action could deepen political division and destabilize a state still recovering from months of emergency rule. It called on the Rivers State House of Assembly to retrace its steps, respect due process, and prioritize peace. With impeachment proceedings now initiated and political tensions resurfacing, the coming days will be critical for Rivers State. For a state whose political stability directly affects its economic relevance within the Niger Delta and the nation at large, stakeholders insist the focus must remain on governance, peace, and the collective interests of Rivers people. Deborah Mia Feberesima, Channels Television News.
So Rivers State, now the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wiki, has once again reiterated the support for President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, while reinforcing his rejection of the governor's second-term ambition. The minister made this known at a thank-you rally in Port Harcourt's local government area. He raised the combination of APC and PDP working together for the president through what he called the Rainbow Coalition. Our correspondent Charles Oporum reports.
As the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wiki, winds down his thank-you tours across the 23 local government areas of Rivers State, his penultimate day takes him to Port Harcourt's local government area, where he is received by an enthusiastic crowd of supporters and officials. Port Harcourt Council Chairman and the Assembly member from the constituency reaffirmed their support for the minister and the president ahead of the 2027 general election.
People of Port Harcourt said I should inform you that we are ready. We are ready. We are waiting for your further directive on what to do. As soon as your directive comes, Your Excellency, we will swing into action because we're a good man.
Yes, I'm saying yes, sir. Whatever decision you take, I will definitely abide and carry it out to the letter, sir. Sir, you are such a good man. I've enjoyed your benevolence, and I swear I will never take it for granted.
In a show of political solidarity, the leader of the Renewed Hope family in the local government leads a crowd of supporters from the various wards in a pledge of their loyalty to the minister.
We are saying thank you, even as you have come to thank us. So there is nothing more to add. Father, the people of Port Harcourt, the living and the dead, those who agree and those who don't agree, they say thank you. They say God bless you. God keep you. Give you health. Thank you.
Soon after, Mr. Wiki takes the podium, and in between dropping dance moves, he whips the crowd into a frenzy as he reaffirms support for President Tinubu while reiterating that those who came in from the window will leave from the window in an apparent swipe at his political opponents.
How can a man who did not read primary 1, did not read primary 2, did not read primary 3, did not read primary 4, did not read primary 5, he finds himself in primary 6. He said, look, since you came through the window, you must go out through the window. Now why am I saying this? We are the people of the Renewed Hope family. And that was why we took the decision to support Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now those who were not there then, who went and supported Abawaja through Abubakar, I refuse to give him even 10%. I'm not coming that they want to lead the Renewed Hope agenda. Is it possible?
This is the 22nd local government area on the minister's itinerary as he wraps up his thank you tour and consolidates his support base. Now, all is set for the grand finale in Obiakpo LGA on Sunday. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
And as excitement begins in the political space ahead of 2027, the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State is closing ranks to unite the party for success. As part of the Renewed Hope agenda of the federal government, party leaders across the state say all interests will be aligned to foster unity and progress of the party ahead of the general elections. Our correspondent, Bukola Oriowo, reports.
The excitement here in Ogbomoso is infectious as leaders of the APC in Oyo State come together to show members that unity is key. Led by the Renewed Hope ambassador in Oyo State, Senator Teslim Folari, the party leaders, which include the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, the 3 senators in the state, and members of the House of Representatives from across the state, are here all gathered. The APC and other political appointees are preaching unity, common purpose, and diligent support for President Tinubu's second-term re-election bid.
All we've just come to do is to bring, everyone to come together so people can see that this is not like AI generated pictures. And you can see people are very happy and excited. And we also thought we would seize the opportunity to pass on the message of Mr. President that he does not want any war again. He wants harmony, peace and harmony in the party.
This high-powered delegation moved from one local government to another, from Ogbomoso to Kishi to Shaki. The message is the same. APC must remain united.
We are here in Ogbomoso. My take again today is we have seen harmony, we have seen peace, we have seen unity within the leadership of APC in Oyo State. There is no one that will be left out. What we can see here again today is an improvement from what we saw in Oyo last time. So I want to, at this point in time again, encourage all our members to come together and follow suit, just like all the leaders are canvassing for peace and harmony for the success of our 2027 election.
The group notes that the Renewed Hope agenda of the president has yielded dividends that emboldens the party to accept as many defectors as possible.
We're happy that the entire leadership of APC in Oyo State, the key stakeholders, the drivers of the party of APC are here for unity and for the purpose of endorsing the marvelous work President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been doing in the last 28 some months, to endorse him for 2027 all the way to 2031. But we're moving forward as a party in Oyo State, united to be able to take over Agodi when it comes to 2027.
The rally continues across all the 14 federal constituencies across Oyo State to draw more support for federal government policies as well as the re-election bid of President Bola Tinubu. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
And in part two, after the break, the Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission amends its timetable for the 2026 local government election. Join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories now. The River State House of Assembly says it has formally dispatched a notice of impeachment proceedings to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wiki, again reiterates his support for President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan tasked Nigerian leaders at all levels to cultivate the virtues of selfless service. And protests continue in Iran. Medics say hospitals are overwhelmed with injuries as not enough doctors to cope with the influx of patients. And former Presidents Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, as well as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Mr. Peter Obi, have urged Nigerian leaders at all levels to emulate the virtues of selfless service exemplified by the life of former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, as he clocks 60. He also spoke at a celebratory colloquium in Abuja to mark the day where the celebrant cried the present state of Nigeria as comatose, stating that the nation needs immediate attention before it slides into total anarchy. Our correspondent, Dele Omoyeni, reports.
It's a gathering of Nigeria's leaders at all levels, both past and present, as the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, hits the Diamond Jubilee. The theme of the lecture is the future of democratic governance in Nigeria, pathways to national cohesion, human security, and economic renewal. The former governor of Sokoto State sheds light on the purpose of the public lecture.
It's for all of us to agree that there is something fundamentally wrong with what we are doing and having as government in Nigeria today. Therefore, we must resolve to work together and bail out the country. Our country is in peril, and we are looking for salvation. And it's a collective process. It is not about partisanship. It is not about political parties alone. Yes, I agree with Dr. Bugaji that the political parties must put forward programs and come out with clear ideas of how to run the country.
A former permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, Professor Mohammed Bandi, delivered the lecture on behalf of the former INEC chairman. He says the foundation of Nigeria's democracy needs to be reinforced.
We seek pathways to good governance. We seek pathways to cohesion. The very first element is national purpose. Who are we? What are we as a nation? What do we seek to achieve as leaders, as followers?
In their goodwill messages, several distinguished Nigerians urged the nation's leaders to emulate the virtue of the celebrant by inculcating selfless service.
Your life has been a monumental life of service. Not only in your community, not only at the political level, but at every level.
He held the House of Representatives. Within that period, his fellow members, his colleagues, always believed in him. They admired his leadership. And I appreciate that so much. as a president then, even though we used to disagree in some of these areas.
Today, we are celebrating the life of a remarkable Nigerian leader, a patriot, and a leader in the making, who I believe are the kind of leaders that we are looking forward to producing in this country.
Having known Tambawal, having seen this unity and what it can do for development, is a man I can tell you that is committed to the unity of this country, to building consensus that we need for national development.
Mr. President, I'm making that confession. And to tell you that Aminu is a very trusting person. For me, he's my son who is celebrating his 60th birthday. I wish you a blessed 60th birthday, and I wish you God's guidance and protection.
When the leadership turnover was so huge, and you had a diverse house with people with different political parties, and yet you managed it so skillfully that we didn't hear of attempt to impeach Tabuan. That shows skill, that shows large heart, that shows capacity in leadership to translate into action the diversity of Nigeria as represented in the most populous parliament in Africa.
Now, the focus of this celebratory colloquium is charting a pathway forward for Nigeria's future democratic governance. And stakeholders believe that the leadership recruitment process must throw up leaders who have the competence, the character, the integrity, and the presence of mind to ensure that Nigerians enjoy the dividends of democracy. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
An artist of national development, the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, has reiterated his administration's focus on delivering tangible development across the state. Speaking at a town hall meeting in Benin City, the Edo State capital, Governor Okpebholo listed ongoing projects and commended President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms. Our correspondent Jessica Olugwosere has the report.
Monday Okpebholo's speech in the town hall in Benin City, the Edo State capital, with members of the Akwakomiza movement for Tinubu, draws chairs as he lists ongoing projects including Sapele Road reconstruction, erosion control in Ogege, Temboga Gully intervention, and schools upgrade as proof of his administration's commitment.
Nothing that will stop me from developing Edo for you. That somebody is going to Lagos, he will pay 500,000 naira to fly to Lagos. Somebody is going to Abuja, he will fly 500,000 naira to go to Abuja. Very soon it will stop. Edo Air will surface.
Governor Okpebholo also lauds President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms, saying they are bold and people-focused, with pleasant results already unfolding.
President Tinubu is driving this country well. And I believe he will take us to a destination that will profit this country. Because his reforms are for the common man.
Some members of the Labour Party's obedience movement who are also in the meeting announced their support for President Tinubu's re-election, citing confidence in his agenda.
95% of those present here today are members of the obedient movement, Labour Party stakeholders, who supported Peter Obi in the 2023 general election. Their deliberate and intentional political shift to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a second term was made well before tonight. And we are proud to affirm that choice, trusting that his economic reform agenda will be fully completed.
The town hall ends with renewed assurances of support for Governor Okpebholo's development agenda. Jessica Olugwosere, Channels Television News.
And now to party enrollments. The Kwara State Governor, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, has flagged off the e-registration and revalidation of membership for the All Progressives Congress in the state. The governor, who was documented as the first registrant in the state, said the exercise is designed to strengthen the party and ensure accurate membership tally for planning.
We all know the score of our presidential candidate, who eventually won the election. But it does not tally with the voters' membership registration of our party. I think we have about 42 million members. And during the election, we don't muster 10 million votes. So the president is a practical politician. He's a scientific politician. We want to know how many members does APC possess. That's what informed this. We want to know the original value of our strength, how many members we have per ward, per polling unit, up to national level. This is my primary constituency, Ward 1. They all believe in me, and that's why I've always identified with them. I've already told them this is not one registration that will do multiple registration. It's not encouraged, it should not be allowed. So I urge them to mobilize as many as possible. People who are ordinarily not politicians, we should mobilize them, bring them on board, because the reward for non-participation in politics of our people is that you end up being governed by people who does not have the kind of knowledge you have.
And the 2027 governorship aspirant in Lagos State, Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, also known as Jandor, has described the ongoing APC electronic registration and revalidation of party membership as critical to strengthening internal democracy and party cohesion. Jandor, who personally participated in the e-registration exercise at his Ward G, Nojo local government area of Lagos State, urged party members to embrace the exercise and said the initiative would enhance transparency and provide the party with a credible and verifiable membership database for effective mobilization and planning. He urged all APC members, both old and new, to fully participate in the exercise, noting that a strong and organized party structure is essential for democratic stability.
In line with directive of our political party, the All Progressive Congress, I just registered here in my ward as a member of the APC. My bid goes beyond just registering for myself. We have to call on everybody. We have to go via mass media. We have to invest our time, our resources in ensuring we galvanize support for this party so that at the end of the day, we have the numerical strength that can speak to winning, for the president, for all candidates of the party, both at national and at the state level. When I heard the impeachment 2.0, now that is in APC, and with also the members of the assembly also in APC, for me, I had no fear really, and I'll tell you why. Because APC is not PDP. APC is a political party, a political structure with what we call party supremacy.
And the Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission has amended the timetable for the 2026 local government elections, shifting key pre-election activities while maintaining September 9, 2026 as the official poll date. The revised timetable was announced by the Commission's chairman, Mr. Plaji Daniel Shisak, who said the adjustments were made after careful consideration of legal, administrative, and operational concerns. One of the major amendments is the rescheduling of the party primaries from January to March 7 to 12, 2026.
Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission wishes to notify the leadership of all political parties and the general public that elections shall be conducted in 17 local government councils of the state on the 9th of September 2026 between 8 a.m. and 3 a.m. Conduct of party primaries including resolution of dispute arising from the primaries. Initial date was 12 January to Friday, 30th January 2026. This is to enable political parties democratically nominate their candidates for the election as required by law. Adjusted dates. Saturday, 7th March 2026 to Thursday, 12th March 2026. I want to plead with the political parties to also get to give the notice of election within 21 days before their primaries.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves report its first weekly accretion in 2026, rises by over $36 million to $45.64 billion as of January the 7th. You join us again.
Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Channels Television, ubiquitous. Modern lifestyle requires a lot of energy, backed up by intense production processes, which impact the environment in more ways than one.
The world has realized that you cannot deal with climate change without looking at loss of biodiversity.
On Echo Africa, nature speaks and the discerning mind becomes champion of sustainable living.
One thing we want to do is to change public behavior around recycling.
Watch Echo Africa on Channels Television and find out what nature is saying.
Welcome back. To security matters now. The Plateau State government has confirmed the successful rescue of 25 children abducted last month in Wase local government area by armed men posing as vigilantes. The children were kidnapped on December 21st, 2025, along the Zak Southern Lai Road around 7 p.m. while traveling for a Maulud celebration. 3 other children narrowly escaped during the attempted abduction. Briefing journalists in Jos, the secretary to the state government, Samuel Jatel, described the rescue as a significant breakthrough for the security agencies. According to him, the state government has ordered trauma assessments for the children and provide financial support as they return to their families.
Yesterday evening, the security agencies called to say they have tracked and have rescued all 25 children, hale and hearty. Out of these 25, 6 are female, 19 are male. And they are all here with us in the hall. They've been subjected to medical checks and tests to find out that they are okay, apart from the minor sores and wounds on their feet because they've been trekking. I think the only thing that we will advise the local government to do when they get custody of these children is to ensure that they follow up with psychological traumatic tests for some couple of weeks to be able to manage them to come back properly to their homes. But outside that, I think they're hale and hearty and they're fine. We want to thank the DSS particularly and all other security agencies for a wonderful job. The DSS has been doing very remarkable exploits across the length and breadth of the state. The desk officer, Mr. Zubairu Abubakar, who will hand over the kids to, he will take them to Wase to reunite with their families and their parents. The government will support them with a token that we will extend to the local government. But like I said, I emphasize the local government will not just go and abandon them with their parents. Please, you will need to watch over them for a few weeks to make sure that they are very okay psychologically, physically, and otherwise.
And now to industrial matters. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, threatened to resume a nationwide strike over the federal government's failure to fully implement a memorandum of understanding reached with the union. Speaking at a press briefing in River State, the president of the Association of Resident Doctors, University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital Branch, Dr. Ezinne Kalu, says the resident doctors suspended their strike in November 2025 in good faith, but key aspects of the agreement covering welfare, remuneration, and professional practice remain unfulfilled.
About the welfare. So just like I mentioned, the NEC rejects the decisions of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to redeploy the 5 disengaged resident doctors of the Federal Teaching Hospital Lokoja to another federal teaching hospital and demands the immediate and unconditional reinstatement in FTH Lokoja in line with the recommendation of the duly constituted committee. Secondly, the NEC demands the immediate transmission of the compiled promotion arrears owed to resident doctors across several institutions to the Budget Office and to the Federal Ministry of Finance for prompt processing and payments. After exhaustive deliberations and in view with the federal government's failure to honor the Memorandum of Understanding freely entered into to address the legitimate demands of Nigerian resident doctors, the NEC hereby resolves as follows. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, resumes the previously suspended total, comprehensive, and indefinite strike with effect from 12 a.m. midnight on Monday, 12th January 2026. Accordingly, all members, including Association of Resident Doctors, University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, and other 90 health institutions nationwide, are directed to withdraw their services completely and indefinitely.
And to security matters, the Imo State government says the protection of lives and property remains a top priority as Governor Hope Uzodinma reaffirms his administration's commitment to sustaining peace and security. The governor gave this assurance in Owerri, the Imo State capital, during the passing out parade and formal inauguration of 7,000 newly trained operatives of the Imo State Vigilante Services Organization. Our correspondent, Itope Ekute, reports.
Clad in full regalia under the scorching sun at the Ndubusi Kano Square in Owerri, rows of freshly trained operatives of the Imo State Vigilante Services Organization stand ready for the passing out parade and formal inauguration. The large turnout of top government officials, traditional rulers, and residents underscores the significance attached to the event. Governor Hope Uzodinma's arrival, dressed in the same uniform, signals the commencement of the parade as the operatives march in a coordinated formation. Following the parade, the Commissioner for Homeland Security and Vigilante Affairs, Modestus Osakwe, says the initiative aims to strengthen community-based security architecture in the state. The operatives are expected to support conventional security agencies through intelligence gathering and rapid response at the grassroots.
The initiative to formally establish and strengthen community-based security architecture is timely, strategic, and commendable. It reflects a clear recognition of the indispensable role of grassroots participation in effective security governance. Properly structured, trained, and coordinated vigilante operatives, such as those being inaugurated today, serve as the eyes and ears of our communities. They complement conventional security agencies by providing vital local intelligence, rapid response capabilities, and a deep understanding of the terrain and socio-cultural dynamics of our people.
For Governor Uzodinma, the strengthened security framework sends a clear message to investors and visitors that Imo State is secure and open for business.
With this inauguration, we are sending a clear signal to the nation and the world. Imo is open. Imo is safe. To the investors looking for a home and the visitors looking for a destination, your search ends here. I want to assure you, Ndimo, that my administration will jealously protect the new Imo which we have secured. The state where investments meets opportunity.
Nevertheless, he cautions operatives against abuse of power, stressing the need for professionalism, discipline, and respect for human rights.
However, I will advise you do not mistake any authority for an excuse to bully or harass the very people you are paid to protect. Any reckless abuse of power will be met with the full weight of the law. You are here to serve, not to intimidate.
The governor later commissions patrol vehicles designated for teams across the 27 local government areas to enhance rapid response and crime-fighting operations. The initiative marks another step towards consolidating peace and deepening community policing across the state. Eyitopakuta, Channels Television News.
And the federal government, through the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Project, is taking steps to curb the recurring crisis between farmers and herders by enhancing livestock value chain and introducing policies that will ensure a win-win situation for all parties. The Taraba State Coordinator of the project disclosed this at an event to inaugurate the Disease Surveillance Laboratory, Artificial Insemination Center, and Cold Chain Facility for vaccine storage and further choppers, courtesy of the federal and state government.
The Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project is a strategic measure of the federal government funded by the World Bank and implementing state governments to improve livestock productivity, encourage commercialization, and build the capacities of authorities to mitigate conflicts between farmers and herders in the country. Taraba State in northeast Nigeria has had its fair share of the farmers-herders crisis, and the federal and state governments are here to inaugurate the Artificial Insemination Center, Disease Surveillance Laboratory, Cold Chain Facility for vaccine storage, as well as distribute motorbikes and further choppers for enhanced livestock feeds. The aim is to tame bloodletting, ensure food security, and sustain a peaceful society.
The Animal Disease Surveillance Lab will strengthen early disease detection, diagnosis, reporting, and response, including transboundary and zoonotic disease of public health importance. The solar-powered cold chain facility will ensure proper storage and preservation of vaccines and biologicals, guaranteeing potency even in areas with unreliable power supply.
Youths in the state say they have embraced livestock farming but will henceforth not tolerate any acts of sabotage, as it will not be business as usual.
We have seen a lot of empowerment, but yet you see them, after receiving them, they go and sell them. The agency is going to help the L-Press by having a committee that will follow up and monitor the youths that benefit from this equipment to ensure they don't sell them. And the governor has given the go-ahead that when anyone is caught selling anything, he should no longer benefit from any empowerment that will come.
And also encourage all Tarabans to take advantage of all of these facilities for the betterment, for the advancement, and for our own prosperity, so that moving forward, we'll also take livestock as a serious business in transforming our lives and transforming the nation as a whole.
Governor Agbo Kefas, represented by the State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, says his administration has a blueprint to ensure food security and fast-track the chain process of livestock productivity and resilience support project in Taraba State.
This program reflects the strong commitment of the Taraba State government to transforming the livestock sector as a critical component of food security, economic growth, and sustainable livelihoods. The facilities commissioned today, which will commission today shortly, which include the Disease Surveillance Laboratory, solar-powered cold chain facility, Artificial Insemination Center, as well as a milk cooling farm, are vital investments that will strengthen animal health systems, improve disease control, and enhance livestock productivity across the state.
The distribution of 200 fodder choppers and 30 motorcycles is to address challenges faced by livestock farmers and extension service providers, improve feed processing, and enhance mobility for increased productivity and improved income for farmers.
And to weather now, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has attributed this year's delay of harmattan in some parts of the country as a result of climate change. The Deputy General Manager, Public Weather Services of NIMET, Mr. Ibrahim Adeni, says the shift in pattern is as a result of human activities such as environmental pollution, land degradation, and other environmental factors. On our program, Sunrise, earlier today, Mr. Adeni said the harmattan can be seen actively in parts of the north, but is yet to be felt in the south.
What we are seeing is purely as a result of climate change. You now see a shift in pattern of what you are used to, and that is exactly what is happening. It's not only Nigeria, it's been happening everywhere in the world, but our own, like I said, it's not that we don't have the harmattan, but I may say it's not that active, because in the northern part of the country, including the north central, we have been witnessing that. But the shift, the movement to the southern part of the country is what is actually not there, particularly the inland cities and, the coastal area where we are still having thunderstorms. So it's not been active in the south, and as we even speak now, because yesterday we released weather alerts that a massive dust plume has just been raised over the South region, which is expected to affect major part of the country. As we speak now, the northern part is being affected. The north central is also being affected, but it has not been able to push down due to atmospheric, circulation, to push down to the southern part of the country. Human activities that lead to, burning of fossil fuel, the coal, the oil and gas, that's resulted in the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This is basically what is causing these changes. And as definitely when we continue doing this, if we don't reduce this emission, if we don't reduce some of what causes this climate change, we'll continue to see this shift. This harmattan period, we have also been sensitizing people. Each of our forecasts, look at it. When we notice that the concentration of such dust is too much in the atmosphere, we let the public know so that those with asthma and some other respiratory conditions will take necessary precautions.
And now to economic matters. Nigeria's gross foreign exchange reserves increased this week by $36.32 million, week on week, to $45.64 billion as of January the 7th, and in the first full trading week of the year in the green. According to latest data posted on the CBN's website, the external buffer, which provides the financial market regulator with capacity to intervene in the FX market, recorded a modest improvement on the back of foreign inflow components, such as foreign direct investment, which more than doubled to $50.1 million in December, rising by 381.7% from $10.4 million in the preceding month. At the same time, on the domestic side, FX contributions from the exporters and importers window, as well as individuals, supported the reserves month-on-month rebound, rising by 49% and 88% to $683 million and $275.3 million accordingly. The Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee has reacted to the recent concerns raised by global accounting and professional services giant KPMG over the new tax law. In a statement issued today, the committee says the most parts of KPMG's areas of concern on the newly implemented tax legislation shows that it misunderstands the context of the policy, which introduced some improvements such as tax simplification, lower corporate tax rates, and benefits for low-income earners and small businesses, while acknowledging the few concerns raised by KPMG, particularly in the area of implementation risk and cross-referencing issues for foreign-controlled companies in Nigeria. The committee classified a significant portion of the financial services view on the new policy as invalid conclusion.
Hello and welcome to Sports News. Let's get things started in Marrakesh, where Victor Osimhen and Akra Adams scored as Super Eagles of Nigeria advanced to the semi-finals of the 2025 AFCON with a comfortable win over Algeria at the Marrakesh Stadium. Former African Player of the Year Osimhen broke the deadlock for the Super Eagles just 85 seconds into the second half for his fourth goal at the tournament. And Adams added the second 10 minutes later when he rounded Algeria goalkeeper Lucas Zidane after being played in by Osimhen. Adams had a chance to make it 3-0, but headed against the left-hand uprights from Osimhen's cross with 9 minutes remaining. Nigeria, who are runners-up at the 2023 edition, will now face the host nation, Morocco, in the last four in Rabat on Wednesday, January 14. While Egypt have kept their hopes of an 8th AFCON title alive with a thrilling 3-2 victory over holders Côte d'Ivoire, Manchester City forward Oumar Marmoush won a 50-50 before giving Egypt an early lead. Rami Rabia headed into the net to make it 2-0 for the Pharaohs after the half-hour mark. The Elephants pulled one back 5 minutes before the break, but it was Liverpool star Mohamed Salah who hit Spurs for final to leave the Elephants with a mountain to climb. Egypt will now face Senegal for a place in the finals also on Wednesday. Away from Morocco, Nigeria's forward Victor Boniface faces several months on the sidelines after German Bundesliga side Werder Bremen announced that he had surgery on his knee in Austria. Today, Boniface had played 11 times for the German side this season after joining on loan from Bayer Leverkusen, but he has failed to register a goal. The 25-year-old missed the final two fixtures of 2025 with the issue preventing him from training, while he also ruled him out of Nigeria's squad for the Cup of Nations holding in Morocco. But the club says his loan deal until the end of the current season will not be cut short, as Bayer Leverkusen's doctors were also involved in the decision. Well, let's turn to the English FA Cup now. As Crystal Palace's title holders and defence has come to an embarrassing end as they were beaten 2-1 by sixth-year Macclesfield in the biggest shock in the competition's history. Well, Ghana forward Anton Semenyo scored in his debut as Manchester City crushed Exeter 10-1. Aaron Ramsdale saved 3 penalties in a dramatic shootout as Newcastle United defeated Bournemouth to reach the 4th round of the competition. And just like Ramsdale, Sunderland goalkeeper Robin Ruiz saved 3 penalties from 3 in a shootout as the Black Cats reached the 4th round of the competition by beating Everton. Nigeria's forward Tolu Arokodari's brace fired Wolverhampton Wanderers past League 2 Shrewsbury into the 4th round of the tournament. And second half goals from Harry Wilson, Emil Smith-Rowe and Kevin helped Fulham come from behind to defeat Middlesbrough. The basketball gets our attention next. Jalen Williams scored 26 points and Kenrich Williams added 21 as the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder erased a 21-point third-quarter deficit to edge the Memphis Grizzlies 117-116. Williams delivered a go-ahead three-pointer with less than 1 minute remaining, and Alex Caruso blocked a last-gasp attempt by Grizzlies points guard Cedric Coward in the final seconds as the Thunder triumphed despite the absence of reigning NBA most valuable player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Jaren Jackson scored 23 points and grabbed 7 rebounds to lead the Memphis Grizzlies without star shooting guard Jamel Morant.
Grizzlies are over the limit. Jackson against.
The team just kept competing, and I just thought for like a January 9th effort, to just continue to keep competing like that in the middle of the dog days of the regular season just shows the competitive nature of the team.
You just see the difference in, let's say, the experience from this type of situations. That's for a young age, they're a very experienced team. They've been in a lot of pressure situations, and they also know how to turn those to their advantage, and we are learning that.
And that's your sports news tonight. I am Kelly. Giga is back to life.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, to international news now. Doctors at hospitals in the Iranian capital say they're overwhelmed with injury cases from ongoing anti-government protests in the country. One said an eye hospital in Tehran had gone into crisis mode. Another did not have enough surgeons to cope with the influx of patients. It comes as the government tries to clamp down on those protests and calls for a return of Iranian monarchy. Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump said Iran was in big trouble and warned that the U.S. will start shooting if protesters are killed. Since protests began on December 28th, at least 50 protesters and 15 security personnel have been killed, and that's according to U.S.-based human rights activist news agency, which states that more than 2,311 individuals have also been arrested. In the meantime, President Donald Trump says the U.S. needs to own Greenland to prevent Russia and China from doing so. Speaking to reporters on Friday, he said countries must have ownership and defend it, as one can defend leases, and the U.S. will have to defend Greenland. Denmark and Greenland say the territory is not for sale. Denmark said military action would spell the end of NATO. And a video filmed by the U.S. immigration agent who fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday has emerged, showing at the moments before gunfire rang out. The 47-second footage obtained by conservative news outlet Alpha News, which is based in Minnesota, shows Renee Nicole Good sitting behind the wheel of her car and speaking to the officer. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance shared the clip on social media, commenting that the agent had acted in self-defense. Local officials have insisted the woman posed no danger. Good's wife has paid tribute to the 37-year-old, saying the pair were trying to support their neighbors when she was shot. The event has sparked protests across the U.S. And the main news again. The River State House of Assembly said it has formally dispatched a notice of impeachment proceedings to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. And the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wiki, has again reiterated his support for President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Thank you for watching the News at 10. I'm Ladi Williams. Good night.